culture is more than just entertainment. It's a lens into society, relationships, and human behavior. I'm Grace, and here on The Grace Report, we dive into stories beyond the headlines. Whether it's reality TV drama, celebrity scandals, or royal family intrigue, I'm here to break it all down. What it means, why it matters, and how it reflects the world we live in. Join the conversation, share your take, and let's make sense of the culture shaping our lives one story at a time. Hey, happy Tuesday. Or no, happy Tuesday, not happy Tuesday. Happy Christmas Eve. How ready are you guys for Christmas Day? In fact, another question, do you celebrate Christmas more so on the eve today or more so on the day? Because I feel like here in France, a lot of people take the 24th very seriously, whereas I have never really been like, a 24th girly. It's just not the way it is where I'm from. I'm just curious. You guys, I just came back from the grocery store. That's why I'm 1 minute late because I rushed to get some stuff because the grocery stores are closing early. Then I'm going out for dinner with my friend. And now here I am back at it. We've got to talk about Diddy's FreakOff coordinator, his alleged FreakOff coordinator anyway. Another lawsuit has just come through, and it feels like every day you wake up and there is a damn new lawsuit against Diddy, and it's insane. Like, I'm losing track. I wonder how much money he is shelling out defending himself against all of these lawsuits, because it is an awful lot. Good morning, Kelly. Happy Christmas Eve. Good morning to you too, Allie. Nice to see you here. Oh my gosh. I can't. If I had to ballpark it, I would think that Diddy has already spent over $200,000 in his legal fund. And I imagine that by this time next year, that number will be in the seven figures, meaning he'll be spending at least $1 million trying to clear his name. And that doesn't even go towards the amount of money that he is spending to keep himself out of bars. But do I feel bad for him? Absolutely not. So let's get into the story about his alleged FreakOff coordinator suing him. Diddy is being sued for actual battery, actual harassment, trafficking, and more by a man named Philip Pines. Philip says that he worked for Diddy from 2019 until 2021, and that a lot of his job revolved around Diddy's, actual what do you call this word? Adventures, so to speak. So shout out to TMZ.com. This lawsuit information is coming from their website, and they're saying that Diddy used this man to help coordinate orgies, rug binges, and then to clean up after him. So this guy, again, his name is Philip Pines, is saying that Diddy would instruct him to prepare the rooms with red lights, ice buckets, alcohol, marijuana, honey packs for male libido, baby oil, Astroglide, towels, illegal rugs, and power banger X machines. I gotta admit, you guys, I'm scared to even look and find out what a power banger X machine is. What? And then the fact that he was using this on multiple people, was he cleaning them in between uses? I'm scared. I really don't even, some of the stuff that I've been hearing about in these Diddy lawsuits just makes my body chill, just woof. This guy's also saying that Diddy referred to these parties as Wild King Nights. This is the first I'm hearing of them being referred to in this way. Up until now, they've always been referred to as FreakOffs. And so voila, maybe this is a different subsect of the FreakOff society. Not sure, but that is just what he's saying in the lawsuit. And so, as he mentioned, he was tasked with cleaning up evidence of the rugs, condoms, X toys, and the stains of bodily fluids, blood, urine, and most likely poop, because there was another lawsuit that said something similar, that he was used to clean up all sorts of things. I have a question for you guys. With so many lawsuits, this is a mic check. So if you're watching live, let me know in the chat, or if you're part of my VOD squad playback posse, let me know in the comment section of this video. But do you believe this guy's lawsuit? Because there have been so many lawsuits filed against this comment just cracked me up. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Shaz has Googled it for you. It's exactly what you think it might be. Oh, Lord, I'm scared. I'm scared. So there have been so many lawsuits filed against Diddy, and one of the lawyers who was filing a lot of these lawsuits appears to be some sort of an ambulance chaser. So do you think that this lawsuit in particular is something that is legitimate? Let me know in the chat if you're watching live, or if you're part of my playback posse, let me know in the comment section. Oh my goodness. So, just so you guys know, Diddy has spoken out about this. His legal team told TMZ, and every time we hear about Diddy's legal team did this, Diddy's legal team did that, Diddy's legal team said this, or they said that, this is the sound in my ears. I'm just thinking how expensive it must be for Diddy to not only fight these lawsuits, but to also have his lawyers frequently releasing statements on his behalf. Right? They said, and I quote, "No matter how many lawsuits are filed, it won't change the fact that Mr. Combs has never actually assaulted or ex-trafficked anyone, man or woman, adult or minor. We live in a world where anyone can file a lawsuit for any reason. Fortunately, a fair and impartial judicial process exists to find the truth, and Mr. Combs is confident he will prevail in court." Listen, this response is nothing short of what I would expect for his legal team. They are being paid the big bucks to claim that this man is innocent and that everybody is just out here lying on him. So it doesn't surprise me personally, but like they said, it is true that Diddy, like any other citizen, is entitled to a fair and just due process to find out whether or not he is innocent or guilty of all of these allegations. Pop Tart says, "I mean, there are too many lawsuits. It's easy to create a story that matches." And that's the thing that makes me nervous. There are a lot of people who, for some reason, they are starved for attention. So they look for opportunities like this to insert themselves into tragedies. For example, when they had the Bataclan stuff here in Paris where people were killed, right? What did some people do? They pretended that they were some of the victims. They pretended that they had, survived bullets in them and stuff like that. There's a lot of weird people out there. There are people who pretend to have cancer, right? There's a lot of weirdos out there. So we still do have to remain at least slightly skeptical of some of the stuff that is coming out. Ali says, "I'm shocked there hasn't been any international lawsuits. I'm thinking of Antigua in particular." Now there's a thought, perhaps that's the next frontier here. But you know what I wonder? Is it because those people might not be able to serve, him? How do you get a lawsuit across the world? You know what I mean? Maybe that's the thing, maybe the logistics of it, but that you're raising a very good point, because I do not doubt that he probably carried out these devious acts in other countries as well. You know what always creeps me out? Whenever girls are encouraged on TikTok and stuff like that, they'll be like, "Hey girls, this is rich man season. Go down to Monaco, go down to Saint-Tropez, go down to St. Bart's or something, loiter around the yachts and get invited." I'm like, don't do it, girls, because when you get on these yachts and they put you out in international waters, and if they do some nasty stuff to you, how can they be prosecuted? Because we don't know, right? They're out in our, they could be in the middle of, the waters of this place and that place. So how would you be able to fight back? They could even throw you overboard and say you drowned, So very, very good point that you're raising over there, Ali. Valencia says, "I'm no longer surprised about anything regarding these FOs, but I continue to be grossed out, and I can believe this allegation." I agree with you. It's very shocking, very disappointing, and it's just weird. You need an American lawyer to do it for you, according to Pop-Tart. So I do hope that if there are international victims, that they are able to get in touch with an American lawyer in order to have their cases pushed forward in the justice system. Now, let's turn our attentions over to someone who hasn't disappointed us in his long career span in Hollywood, shall we? None other than Denzel Washington. Thank God for Denzel, y'all, because I need a palate cleanser after the Diddy doo-doo nonsense. Okay. So this is a photo of Denzel Washington with a certification that says that he is now a minister after having gotten baptized. So there he is. He looks proud. He looks happy. He looks very emotional. You can see it in his eyes that he was just crying. Or maybe it's from the chlorine. Guys, have you been baptized? Do you baptize people? Is there chlorine in that water? Because maybe that's what is in his eyes then. And there's a photo of him actually being baptized. And I've got to say, I think it is a very, very beautiful and touching and emotional photo to see him, surrounded by people that he considers to be, loved ones, whether they are blood relatives, whether they are spiritual relatives or what have you. And they're all there to welcome him to the other side of his spiritual journey. So congratulations to Denzel Washington on his baptism. According to TMZ, this was OK Magazine, he was baptized at the Kelly Temple Church of God in Christ, located in New York City's Harlem neighborhood. Okay. Let me go back to the picture of the certificates that he had in his hands as I described them to you. He was holding a certificate of baptism, a minister's license, and the minister's license means that he can later go ahead and get ordained. Quick question for you guys. Did you watch his baptism live? Because it was live streams. I had no idea that this was going on, so I didn't get to watch it, but I am curious about whether or not any of you guys were able to see this happen like live in action. Let me know in the comment section. I gotta say, I'm so happy for Denzel. It feels like he's just, like when you round corners sometimes, like you feel it in yourself and you see it in other people. I feel like he's rounded a different corner and like era of his life. And it was very evident to me when he was doing the press run for Gladiator 2. He just seems so calm, so sure of himself. Remember, he's now turning 70 years old, which is so crazy to say, but he's just been through so much in his life and he's learned so much, and he's got his family, he's got his wife of so many years now. And it feels like, he's accepted that this is like, such a big, huge decade, right? I feel like at a certain age and at a certain point, you start to realize and really, really accept your mortality, right? Not to be grim or anything like that, but you see people around you, kind of start to fall and whatnot. And so when you get to a certain age, you're just like, wow, every day is such a blessing. Thank God that I am still here. Thank God that I am in good health. Thank God that I am prosperous, and the same for my family and for my friends. And I feel like he is in that era of his life, and I love that for him. As a longtime Denzel Washington fan, I do have to tell you guys that I was getting a little bit misty-eyed during his acting in the Gladiator 2, which, by the way, mic check 1 2 1 2. Let me know in the chat or in the comments. Did you watch Gladiator 2? Because normally it is not my type of film at all. However, because Denzel Washington was in it, I had to go ahead and watch it. I'm one of those girls. I am loyal to my actors, And so just seeing him, and it's funny because I had recently watched that other gangster movie that he put out. I think it was called American Gangster, where he would just be like, my man, all the time, my man. And he hired all of his siblings with these front businesses to money launder and whatnot. So I had recently watched that prior to watching The Gladiator 2. And he looked so young, so fresh. The way he moved was just so clean and easy, because he was young. And now watching him in The Gladiator, from his hair to his skin to everything else, and I feel like I'm getting misty-eyed talking about it again, but just the evolution of this man, right? And the fact that he was able to hold it together for so many decades and still have such a beautiful, clean legacy where so many other people have failed to do so. And the fact that he is still just as talented and as vibrant and as captivating as ever. He was acting with people who were half his age, even less than half his age, and still running circles around them. And I think it is such a beautiful thing. I will forever love me some Denzel, and, just seeing that he is actually truly aging and stuff like that, and I'm not saying he looks bad or anything like that. It's just, it's a true thing. He is aging. And you could see it in his hair. You could see it in his skin. You could see it in his eyes. You could see it in the way he moves. Right. It made me a little bit emotional, because then you remember, wow, He's aging. That means I'm aging. That means everyone around me is aging too. And it's just a reminder, right? It's just, wow. It's just, yeah, and I think it's like Pop-Tart saying that, like, maybe this new energy that we're seeing in him, or that I'm seeing in him, is that he's becoming less fearful and like grateful. And like, it's kind of like, I don't know how to say it, but it's kind of like you're rounding that last corner. You're running a race, you're rounding that last corner, and you're like, yeah, I got this in my pocket, and I know he's got 1,000,001 more, years ahead of him or anything like that, of course, right? He seems to be a very healthy, active, lively person. But yeah, I just feel like that is his new era that he's in right now. And I think he's doing a fantastic job. He really is just so wonderful and so elegant, and such a beautiful person. So he says he shouted out to his wife, Pauletta, during his baptism and his entire journey, and by telling the audience, quote, "In 1 week, I turned 70. It took a while, but I'm here. If God can do this for me, there's nothing he can't do for you. The sky literally is the limit." 46 years later, here I'm still standing next to him as only God will have it, and that is what Pauletta was saying about their marriage, by the way. So this is Pauletta talking. And she continued to say, "So I'm very proud of you. You are the head of our house, and you have set a great example for our children, who are now adult children, who know the difference because we have shown them the difference." And again, beautiful. I'm just, it warms my heart to see a beautiful, elegant, sophisticated, family together. I just, congratulations to him. He and his wife and their children, they all seem so beautiful and so wonderful. And I'm just so happy for all of the success that they have been able to have up until this point, and that they will have again in the future. So give me a second, you guys. I just want to share a message from our sponsors for a minute, and I'll be right back on the Morning side. Report is brought to you by Felo. Watch your favorite shows and movies from over 70 different channels, including MTV, TLC, WeTV, and more for only $28 a month. Get a free trial today by clicking the link in the description box of this video to get your free trial up and running. Are you looking for the perfect skincare products for women over 30? Look no further than Ruthia. Ruthia is a skincare brand born from love and made for parents. Their flagship product, the Resilience Cream, delivers clinically proven age prevention benefits such as average 14% wrinkle reduction after 4 weeks of use. Click the link below and receive 30% off your first purchase today. Thank you guys again for helping support the channel by checking out our sponsors. The link to their products and their websites are in the description box of this video. Now, let's get into our next story. Mariah Carey, y'all. She has set the gossip world aflame, or should I say abuzz. So here she is looking super duper fabulous. She was at a studio out in Colorado, I believe it was, just looking absolutely gorgeous. Look at this look. I would love to replicate this. It looks absolutely gorgeous. So preppy, so chic, so cute. And she went to the studio holding hands with a certain someone. And it's a certain someone where, if you know, you know. He's mainstream, but not super recognizable. So just so that you guys are aware, that is Anderson .Paak. And he had a really great, couple of years, right? He did a duo album with Bruno Mars. They won a couple of Grammys and everything. They had that hit song, Smoking Out the Window. What you doing? Where you at? Oh, you got friends. Don't say that. That's the guy, right? So Mariah Carey was spotted holding hands with him as she entered the studio. And now people believe that the two of them are in a romantic relationship. And I got a question for you guys. Do you see it for them? I feel like if she were in a relationship with Anderson .Paak, it would kind of be reminiscent of her relationship with Sperm Cannon. In that it's like a young, charismatic, Black musician. And we haven't seen her in this kind of a relationship for a while, because Mariah was playing in the snow for quite a while, right? She had that billionaire, James Packer. Then she had Brian Tatanka or something like that, that young kind of like white Latino dancer. So I haven't really heard of her dating Black for quite a while now. So that would be rather interesting. Listen, Anderson is recently going through a divorce. He and his wife, they just filed for divorce a couple of months ago. So I guess now he is looking to get out there, see what's out there. And I guess, listen, Mariah's out there. And if we get some good music out of it, then so be it. So be it. I do want to issue a quick correction. However, I did say that they were in Colorado, but they were actually up in Aspen at the studio. So we'll watch the space. We'll keep an eye out and see if there are any developments on this. Perhaps he was just out here helping her get into the studio without slipping because there is snow, there is ice out there, or maybe it's more. Not sure yet. Ali says he's 38. He seems a lot more mature than shoot up the club cannon. Ain't that the truth? And listen, Mariah Carey is no stranger to dating younger. So I can totally see this being a potential match. Whether or not it's a long-term, lifelong match remains to be seen. However, I truly can see it potentially being a match. Now, you guys, we've got to talk about Luigi Mangione. Oh my goodness. The amount of think pieces coming out about this man. I have a question for you guys. Has your opinion of him changed at all? Were you previously neutral about the entire situation and now you are leaning negative against him, positive towards him, still neutral? I'm really curious how the handling of his case has impacted you guys' view of him. I will tell you guys that I recently reached out to one of my friends here, Stephanie from Allegedly Stephanie. She is a lawyer who provides a lot of legal commentary on, popular things in pop culture right now, right? And so I said, Stephanie, what is going on with this Luigi thing, right? Because when P. Diddy got arrested, it was very, very quiet, very, very discreet. There was no perp walk or anything like that. And the allegations against him are spanning decades. They're horrific. And he truly is a dangerous person who has reached out to alleged victims in an effort to silence them. He allegedly has blown up people's cars. He has done a lot of heinous things. But there wasn't, and he's famous. Like, this would have been a wonderful opportunity for that kind of fanfare. But it was crickets. And we don't get to see him coming in and out of these courtrooms. We only get sketches of him. We only get reports of what he supposedly looks like, but nothing on the scale of what we've been getting with Luigi, And initially, when we're talking about the Diddy stuff, people were saying we're not going to see much of him because this is a federal case. It's all kind of hush hush. It's not going to be live streamed like Depp v. Heard because that was a civil case. But if that is the case, then how come this, which is also a federal criminal case, is so publicized? They are doing photo shoots with this man like every other day. I have seen so many photos of this guy and I just do not understand. So Stephanie, she told me, listen, hang on, let me see what she told me. I'm going to pull up my phone. No, shout out to you, Steph, by the way. She says it is a PR stunt. They're trying to get people to view him as a criminal. So like they're really trying to, and obviously if he did what he did and if he is found guilty, then he is a criminal. However, they really want to set an example when it comes to this guy. And I'm kind of feeling like, well, why didn't you want to send an example when it came to P. Diddy, or when it came to several other people who have done a lot of horrific things, and a lot of you guys have been talking about the school shooters. Y'all have a school shooter epidemic and these people are not trotted out this way. These people are not hit with terrorism charges. So what's going on, right? I guess they're trying to quell an uprising because they see that so many people are fans of his, or his manifesto or what it is that he stands for, I guess. I don't know. But I don't think that they're doing a good job of it. I think that with every step that they make, especially when you saw him in court the other day with like those cops hovering over him in a way you've never seen with other people, it looks ridiculous. And I agree with Ali. They are wasting taxpayer dollars. These cops are being paid so much to put on this display. And so we're going to actually go ahead and listen to what his lawyer had to say about this. Shout out to Luigi's attorney. I think she is a very, very strong attorney, and she could possibly have a case for helping to either decrease some of these charges or to help Luigi face as little time as possible, if any time at all, or even potentially get some of these cases dismissed, some of these charges dismissed. Okay, you guys. So let me go ahead and read you a little bit before I go out and play the audio for you, shall we? So this is the information that I've got about the Luigi situation for the time being. So here he was, and mind you, he was matching with his lawyer in court yesterday. It was kind of cute. It almost looked like it was her son or something like that. His lawyer is saying that his constitutional rights were violated. So let's take a listen to what exactly it is that she said.
my client's right to a fair trial in this case. He's being prejudiced by some statements that are being made by government officials. Like every other defendant, he's entitled to a presumption of innocence. But unfortunately, the way this has been handled so far, his rights are being violated. And as you know, Your Honor, there's a wealth of case law guaranteeing his right to a fair trial, but none of the safeguards have been put in place yet here. In fact, it's just the opposite of what's been happening. He's a young man, and he is being treated like a human ping pong ball between two warring jurisdictions here. These federal and state prosecutors are coordinating with one another, but at the expense of him. They have conflicting theories in their indictments, and they are literally treating him like he is like some sort of political fodder, like some sort of spectacle. He was on display for everyone to see in the biggest staged perp walk I've ever seen in my career. It was absolutely unnecessary. He's been cooperative with law enforcement. He had been in custody for over a week. He waived extradition. He was cooperative at all accounts. There was no reason for the NYPD and everybody to have these big assault rifles that, frankly, I had no idea was in their arsenal. And to have all of these, the press there, the media there, it was like perfectly choreographed. And what was the New York City mayor doing at this press conference, Your Honor? That just made it utterly political. And as Your Honor knows, under Lauro v. Charles, the Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit has held it to be clearly established that these staged perp walks to the media, unrelated to a legitimate law enforcement objective, is unconstitutional. And I submit there was zero law enforcement objective to do that sort of perp walk. There's absolutely no need for that whatsoever. And frankly, Your Honor, the mayor should know more than anyone of the presumption of innocence that he too is afforded when he dealing with his own issues. And frankly, I submit that he was just trying to detract from those issues by making a spectacle of Mr. Mangione.
So there you go. Shout out to TMZ once again for the video. I think that his lawyer has a strong case. Like, what was the reason for bringing out all of these cops and the SWAT team, everybody out here? It just looked absolutely ridiculous for a young man who already, proved that he is not a danger to society as a whole. The man, made sure to be as precise as possible when he chose his target and when he attacked his target, allegedly chose his target and allegedly fired on his target. Nobody else was harmed. When the cops found him at the McDonald's, he peacefully surrendered. So what is the reason for all of this? And when you've got the mayor showing up there too, meanwhile, the mayor's got his own criminal charges. It doesn't make any sense. So I'm really curious to see what's going to happen. Will they be downgrading some of these charges? I think they've overcharged him, to be honest with you. And I do not see him going down for terrorism or any of the other things that they are trying to get him on. And so I'm kind of curious what you guys think about that. Honestly, I feel bad. I feel like there are no winners here, in this entire case. It seems as though this is something that he potentially did because he was suffering from chronic pain, and his insurer was refusing to cover the medical care that he needed, including a surgery that he underwent and apparently was not reimbursed for, all sorts of things like that. And so this seems like desperation, anger, and angst and all of that stuff that apparently seems to resonate very strongly with a lot of American people. And I think that is evident in the way in which he is being supported. And so I really, truly hope that people use this anger to go ahead and vote properly. Because to me, again, it's insane to me that so many people support this guy and everything he's doing and everything he stands for. Meanwhile, look who y'all voted for as your president. Do you think this guy's going to give you free health care? The guy who was fighting to repeal Obamacare? It just doesn't make sense. Vote properly, y'all. The rumors are that his lawyer is the wife of someone in Diddy or Jay-Z's team because his family's got money. I also heard that the judge who is overseeing this current moment, like the pre-proceedings, is married to someone who is a CEO or high up in a health insurance industry. So again, I wonder if these things are going to be grounds for recusal or grounds for saying that this is an unfair trial. We're going to have to go ahead and keep an eye out Caroline says, I've had multiple spine surgeries and I never thought to take anyone out. He will get a slap on the wrist. Oh my God. I am so sorry for what you went through. I can't even imagine the amount of pain. Like the spine is like literally the core of your entire body. So to be having issues with it, to be feeling pain with it, I cannot even imagine. I think it's Jay-Z's lawyer's wife. Listen, y'all, there's a lot going on here, you guys. There really is a lot of moving pieces. So watch this space. Keep an eye out. I definitely will continue to update you as new information arises. Now, speaking of updating you guys as new information arises, we got to talk a little bit about Blake and Justin. So yesterday, in fact, 3/4 of my morning report was dedicated to discussing this feud. I've done 2 live streams now reading the lawsuit, the very damning lawsuit that she filed against them. Make sure to check them out on my channel if you haven't seen them yet. They're still up there. And now we want to talk about more people who are coming forward in support of Blake. So just as a recap, her former co-stars from the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants have come out in support of her. We've also seen her, the author of the book, Colleen Hoover, come out in support of her. Amber Heard has come out in support of her. And one of her co-stars named Brandon something also came out in support of her. Well, now, I think at this point, Justin is toast after getting dropped by his WME entertainment management agency. Look what we're finding. Sony Pictures has released a statement standing by Blake Lively. Justin, I hope you saved your money, because I do not know how it's going to be possible for you to keep on working in Hollywood. You already were not really all that known. So for you to make your big debut as a big public crossover in this way, yikes. Luckily, you've got friends in high places. You're friends with alleged billionaires. So maybe they'll hire you to clean their houses or something. I don't know, be a personal assistant so that you can keep making money in the future. Because I don't know how you're going to make it acting. Or maybe they will invest in you, take a chance on you, and let you lead their films. Maybe you'll go over to the Hallmark Channel. I don't know. Anyway, let's take a look at what it is that Sony Pictures had to say in support of Blake Lively. Quote, "We have previously expressed our support for Blake in connection with her work on and for the film. We fully and firmly reiterate that support today. Further, we strongly condemn any reputational attacks on her. Any such attacks have no place in our business or in a civil society." That little bit about civil society is like, ooh, right in the kisser. You know, Justin, you overplayed your hand. And the amount of proof, screenshots that were featured in that lawsuit, nobody can deny, you know, including stuff that he was sending on his own. Woo. Now let's get into the other massive entity that is backing Blake, okay? Sony Pictures already is major. To me, it sounds like they want nothing to do with this man moving forward, you guys, okay? Now, let's see what the next entity is. So the next entity is SAG-AFTRA, which is a union representing about 160,000 actors in Hollywood. So all of the big name actors are part of SAG, okay? Let's take a look at what they had to say. Okay, I'm going to pull up a screenshot from their own statement, and it's a bit lengthier than the statement that we got from Sony Pictures. So stand by. Quote, "These are startling and troubling allegations. Employees have every right to raise issues of concern or to file complaints. Retaliation for reporting misconduct or inappropriate behavior is illegal and wrong," the organization said in the statement. "We applaud Blake Lively's courage in speaking out on issues of retaliation and harassment, and for her request to have an intimacy coordinator for all scenes with nudity or sexual content. This is an important step that helps ensure a safe set." Nobody should be surprised that SAG-AFTRA is speaking out in support of Blake Lively. They are a union, you guys. Of course, they are going to support an actor who claims to have had her civil rights violated while she was working. That is their role. That is their job. And I think they've done a fantastic job of that. And I'm really, really happy for Blake that she's got this backing. Notice when they say that what Justin allegedly did was illegal, Justin, you better be careful, because I wouldn't be surprised if Blake Lively decided to go ahead and file legal charges against you if you do not back down, accept wrongdoing, and, turn this around. I sure would. I sure would. What about you guys? If you were in Blake's position, let's say everything she's saying in that lawsuit is true. You were treated that way. And then after, when you complain about it and you ask for basic dignity, the person says no. And in fact, not only will I not give you basic human dignity, I will turn around and smear your name, ruin your businesses, drag your spouse into it, ruin his life. What would you do? Oh, I'd go legal, and I would go to the criminal courts too, personally. But listen, I'm a Scorpio. Mess with me, boom, the stinger comes out, And so listen, Justin might just be lucky that Blake hasn't taken it there yet. She still has the option to go there in the future, but for now, it looks like she's still keeping it cute with him. And, again, he should be grateful for that. Let me just see if any of you guys have anything to say about that. I do see one comment that just popped back up. New Ivy says, I don't know, guys. I'm having a hard time with this. It hurts to believe her. He was the only hero I had left. I'm sorry. I know exactly what you mean, because, I don't know if you got to watch, but I did a live stream with Kempire and with Layla Lynn yesterday about the Real Housewives of Potomac. And we spoke all about how Karen Huger just really manipulated everyone about her DUI and her drinking problems. And I've always loved Karen, and I still do, but I despise drunk driving and stuff like that. So it was painful for me to admit that my girl was wrong, and my girl, might need to go to jail, for what it is that she did. It's very sad. It's very disappointing. I think that your feelings are valid and normal. Hamlet's Princess says, I don't know how much I believe Blake. You got to tune in, or I don't know if you've been able to yet, but check out the lawsuit. I've read 3/4 of it so far, and the receipts she has are damning. And I think that that's why everyone is stepping up and rallying behind her. Merry Christmas Eve to you as well, Sierra. Nice to see you. And so, okay, wow, you guys, I'm starting to see a lot of you guys' comments roll in. So there was a little bit of a delay there, which is why I wasn't able to read them earlier. So Smitsky says, I cannot stand Blake Lively. Here's the thing. Listen, I don't like Blake Lively either. I don't. But at the end of the day, if everything she's alleging is true and the receipts that she provided seem to point that way, I've got to admit that she was wrong. I think you don't have to like Blake to admit that something terrible was done to her at the end of the day. If I were like Blake, I would struggle flipping. Yes. Okay, so you're exactly like me, Allie. Yup, I'd be the same. I'm not saying that I agree with Justin, but after all that racist behavior, I can't feel bad for Blake. Listen, I get it, you guys. I get why people do not like her, and I get why people are skeptical of her and stuff like that. And I get why some people are having a hard time because they like Justin Baldoni so much. His persona was so convincing. These are all very normal, complex feelings that you guys are having. And, I understand it all. Now, speaking, and this is the last story of today's morning report. Once again, thank you all so much for being here. If you're enjoying the stream, please don't hesitate to give it a thumbs up. We're going to talk about Mia and Jazelle. And you know what's so crazy? I don't even have a picture here to put up of the two girls. I must have forgotten. So this season of the Real Housewives of Potomac, it's been a good season. I've got to admit, I've been enjoying it just because they managed to tone down Giselle's bullying of the other girls and her toxicity, right? And I guess Mia decided to say, hey, listen, if you're not going to do it, I'm going to do it. So what are we finding out now? That Mia B. Lying Thornton, her comments against Giselle's daughters were actually worse than we even thought, you guys. Initially, it was said that she was just talking about how the girls were sneaking in a boy or whatever, and it was kind of no big deal. But now we're finding out that not only did she accuse the girls of sneaking in the boys, she also resorted to calling the girls misogynistic names. Mind you, these are teenage girls. And I do not think that it is acceptable at all. I just want to make that clear, okay? So shout out to the Jasmine brand for this story. Their insiders tell them that Mia had much more to say about Giselle's children than what was aired. Allegedly, Mia called Giselle's daughters WHORN Yep. Again, teenage girls. Mia allegedly called. How do you guys feel about that? How would you have behaved? Yep. How would you have behaved if that were you and your so-called friend, because Jazelle called her a friend? I'd be booing too. I'd be booing too, you guys. I cannot imagine being so desperate to deflect from my own behavior that I would refer to any child, not even just particularly my friend's child, but literally any child, as a whore. Like, that is just insane. And again, I don't understand why Jazelle let her off so lightly. You know, Jazelle, she kind of, the first time Mia said it, Jazelle just said, oh, like, yeah, they let the guys in. They're not perfect, like, whatever. And then, like, we went from there. Then the next episode, nothing happened. She was still doing vacations with Mia, sitting next to her, kikiing with her and stuff like that. And then finally, in this week's episode, she confronted Mia, but it still wasn't anything big. And that's why when he confronted Jazelle, she said, Jazelle, when you thought I was looking at you wrong, or, you know, looking at your kid wrong, you went AWOL on me. So why is it that Mia can literally drag your kids and you're fine with it? And Giselle's weak response was, oh, well, you know, she's my friend. Like, you and I, we were not cool, but she's my friend. So, like, it's a different thing. Should that not make it even worse? To me, someone you already don't F with insulting you or your kids or whatever is like, whatever. Like, we hate each other. Like, we take it there. You know, but your friends, to me, that's even worse. I'm sorry, y'all, but Giselle's never beating those allegations, because that is a weak excuse. And this is what I mean when I tell you guys that Jazelle is a flop housewife. Like, the fact that she's an OG and we've never seen her in a proper head-to-head, we can't quote anything witty or great that she's ever said. She's a flop. She is a flop. She really, really is, you know, and it's just disappointing. Like, she should have done a lot more there. You know, the Robin leaving shows us, I was about to say la disparition. Robin leaving shows us that Jazelle needs to hide behind people. She needs henchmen in order to have some kind of, like, you know, dominance in the group. And when she doesn't have a henchman, AKA Robin, she's nothing. She's no one. She's weak. She can't stand on her own. And so, you know, anyone who has her in their Mount Rushmore of housewives, I'm sorry, but is sadly mistaken. Listen, I'm with you guys in the comment section. Y'all are telling me you're throwing hands, you're going to jail. It's true that Mia sees, like, little girls as grown because she was grown as a little girl. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, because she didn't have a proper upbringing. And it is just so sad. It really is. Shame on you, Mia. Oh, apparently both Mia and Jazelle begged production to take it out. Because at the end of the day, even if this was a beef between the two of them, and it happened in front of cameras, that doesn't mean that it needs to be aired for the world to see in permanence about children. So I am happy that production removed this dispute. Yes, they show that the two of them were fighting over Mia bringing up Giselle's daughters, but thankfully they did not show Mia actually calling them the W word. However, the implication is still there in this fight. So I am disappointed in that, but listen, maybe, and I hate to say this, but let this be a lesson to Jazelle to stop bringing people's families into the show as a storyline. She's gone after, not everyone in this photo, because half the people in this photo are new, but she's gone after everybody's family members, right? She's gone after people's husbands, and she has tried to bring up the paternity of a newborn child, a child that was actually that was in gestation, right? Monique was pregnant, allegedly, where she was trying to bring her child up. So let this be a lesson to you, Jazelle, that it's not acceptable, that God does not like ugly, that karma is very, very real. Unfortunately, sometimes this is the way that, you know, your actions can come back to you. You know, sometimes, unfortunately, they come back to someone close to you, right? So be very, very careful. Now, with that being said, you guys, happy holidays. Once again, happy Christmas Eve. Thank you so much for joining me for today's morning report. I will not be going live tomorrow for Christmas. I'm just going to be, you know, here celebrating. But I will be back on the 26th of December, ready to continue chit-chatting with you all per usual at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take great care of yourselves. Merry Christmas in advance, and I'll see you soon. Oh, I'm seeing some comments coming through. Let me go ahead and say, yes, thank you guys. Merry Christmas to you guys too. Take good care of yourselves. Bye now. I'm going to run to the grocery store and pick up the rest of my last minute groceries before the store is closed tomorrow. So that's why I feel a little bit rushed tonight. But again, take good care of yourselves, you guys, and I will see you on the 26th. Bye.